you make these decisions, you have to make them devoid of the fact that you know their wife's name or their husband's name, you know their kids' names, you know where they live, you know that they've got a mortgage, you know they've got this and that. The realities of making some of these decisions have lifestyle and big impacts on these people. Most importantly, you've just told them that they're not going to achieve what they've just spent the last 12 years trying to achieve. So delivering that news, you deliver it like you want to hear it yourself. If my Olympic dream was over, I don't want the person coming up to me and saying, you didn't get it because you're useless, because you're not good enough, because you're this, because you're that. That's just not helpful. That's not helpful at all. Because if an athlete's been in a program or been an elite athlete for 12 years, they've learned things along the way. You may, at some point, you may need that knowledge, and they may actually add back into the team in a different way. So burning your bridges with people as they walk out of the team isn't going to do us any favours. I think within our team, we're quite lucky because my boss, Dave Brailsford, is a good leader. I know that a lot of people slag off their management teams and all the rest of it, but I can actually stand here in front of a lot of people and say, you know what, I got a good boss. I'm fortunate. I've worked for less good bosses. The thing that I actually admire about Dave is that he employs young, dynamic, ambitious people. He lets them be dynamic, he lets them be ambitious. He lets people who are leading programs lead their programs. But what Dave does, he actually leads the leaders, as it were. And I think that as a dynamic, as a trait in a person is very, very strong. He can switch between the caring arm around the shoulder to the holding the mirror up and calling you every name under the sun, all within the same conversation. Very, very strong. He's the sort of guy who, when he says that we're going, we're moving, we're doing this, you believe it, you know, and he inspires and motivates, and it allows you to inspire and motivate down. So you get inspirational leadership from the top. You then try and show that to your riders. The riders, the senior riders, then show it to the under 23 riders. The under 23 riders show it to the junior riders. And all of a sudden you've got these philosophies and values going all the way down the performance pathway. It's not just the guys at the top who are trying to be the best. Actually, the junior team, they're trying to be the best at what they do as well. And I think when you pull those things together, you create an environment which I've kind of termed here a real sort of performance culture. One where, when we go to work, we're talking about being better, we're talking about going faster. We're enthused by it, you know, it's in us. We want as a team to go faster. No matter how harebrained the idea, we discuss it, we thrash it out. We may laugh about it 2 years later. Even some of the things we were doing 2 years ago, we kind of chuckle at now. If you can get the right people, put them into that culture, I think you, as a team, you really, really move forward. And it becomes quite an exciting place to be. Not comfortable at all. Not friendly either. It's something that I will kind of touch on later. We're not best mates. We won't go out drinking together, necessarily. We might do, but we may not choose to. We're not fluffy and pink. It's not a case of it's okay to fail, because it's not. It's absolutely not okay to fail. It's absolutely not okay to lose. But we recognise that some things are out of our control, and we try and make it better, so that we're better the next time we go out. Every single interview I gave afterwards, even now, people say, so what was the formula? What is it that you guys are doing, that rowing, that sailing, that England football, that England rugby, what aren't they doing? What magical thing are you sprinkling on these guys' cornflakes in the morning that allows this all to happen? And for me, I just put down 5 very simple things. First things first, you've got to have the right athletes. The athletes in our program, like I was saying earlier on, are world leading. You know, they are usually in the top 3, usually winning races that they do. They are physically and mentally incredibly talented. Without that, as a program, you're dead in the water. Then you need a podium coach. Now, you want your coaches to be as good as your athletes, really, at what they do. However, there's no race for coaches, and it's pretty hard to gauge what we do on a day-to-day basis and the impact that we have. So, having a coach who's striving to be the best in the world, that's good enough, just so long as you're at a certain level. So you've got your podium athlete, guy who's trying to be the best in the world, has all the right attributes. Podium coach, guy who's trying to be the best in the world, has all the right attributes. got your podium support team then, like I was saying earlier on, your physio, your biomechanist, your nutritionist, your psychiatrist, your psychologist. All of these guys, your mechanics, your soigneurs, your R&D teams, all of these guys striving to be the best cycling physio in the world, best cycling mechanic in the world, all tapped around your best coaches, your best bike riders. You take all of these people and you immerse them into an environment where it's okay to try to win. You know, in Britain, what we love is coming second. We do. We love to be like the cheeky underdog. And actually, in our organisation, we want to go and win. We're not embarrassed by it. We don't really talk about it that much, but we're going to try and win. We're going to try and do everything possible. We're going to look under every stone to try and win. And the final one, particularly given that it's cycling, can't really say that too well. Podium equipment, the best equipment in the world. We don't ride off the peg bikes. We design them, we build them. They are for sale because they have to be according to Olympic rules. You can't just create something and not let the rest of the world have it. It's absolutely fine. Our bikes are for sale. There's just a 10-year waiting list for them at the moment. The helmets, the skin suits, the wheels, the tyres, the overshoes, everything that goes into that. I want a rider who's the best in the world, with the best coaches in the world, with the best support team, riding the best equipment. If you're that athlete and you're staring down the barrel of an Olympic final, you go to the line confident. You go to the line confident that you are as good as you can be on that day. And if you do that, you've actually succeeded. You can't control the fact that the French have turned up and they've got a stronger man, that the Aussies turn up and they've got a faster team. You can't control that. There's no point worrying about it. All we can focus on is worrying about our day-to-day, making ourselves better. And if our better is good enough, then we'll win. If you pull that all together, you've maximised your opportunity for an Olympic performance. You go through the ups, you go through the downs, you share life's experiences with people travelling around the world. You see people at their absolute best and you see people at their absolute worst. 2 weeks in our team travelling around the world, we will know what sort of person you are. We all know what sort of people we are. We know how to handle people in certain situations because they change. You put stress into the mix and all of a sudden personalities change, behaviours change. So we endure these things together. We go through stressful times together. We have great times together and we have bloody miserable times together. I want to throw something out there and you may disagree. I'm not really that interested if somebody's motivated. Motivation is an emotion and it goes up and down depending on how you're feeling. How motivated are you to stick to your diet? How motivated are you to go out training? How motivated are you to get out of bed today or tomorrow? How motivated are you to do whatever it is that you've got to do, not necessarily what you want to do? It's like this. Whereas commitment to me is fixed. We are committed as a team to go to London 2012. You see it all the time. People come in, I'm really motivated to, an obvious one is lose weight. Within about 10 days, they're back in the biscuit tin straight away, you know. We're all the same. However, those people who start with, I am totally committed to this, they stand a much better chance of succeeding in their end goal. The evidence for it actually comes out of things like drug addiction and alcohol addiction. The people who come in and go, yeah, you know, Doc, I'm really motivated to stop drinking, chances are they're drinking that night. It's the guys who come in with the commitment to want to stop, or the commitment to want to win an Olympic medal. If I took a poll here and said, how many of you guys would be motivated to go and win an Olympic medal? Everybody's hand would go up, yeah, that would motivate me. How many of you are committed? How many of you are prepared to go through what you need to go through, to sacrifice the turmoil to win an Olympic medal? And all of a sudden, the hands start coming down. Number one, for a team to kick off, you've got to respect each other, and not respect each other for what they can't do. That's what good teams always respect people for what they can bring to the party. They don't blame them for what they can't. So if we're asking Rebecca to do something that we know she can't do and then just blame her for it, how does Rebecca feel about being part of the team? It's just ridiculous.